What's up everybody, it's your boy Namejamie and welcome back to another quest guide. In today's video, we're going to be going over the brand new quest, A Kingdom Divided. The quest requirements for this guide are the completion of The Client of Karen, The Depths of Despair, The Queen of Thieves, The Ascent of Arceus, The Forsaken Tower, Tale of the Righteous, and Architectural Alliance. The skill requirements for this guide are 54 Agility, 52 Thieving, 52 Woodcutting, 50 Herblore, 42 Mining, 38 Crafting, and 35 Magic. The inventory requirements for this quest guide are teleports to Karen. For me, I'm just going to be using a bunch of player-owned house teleports where I have access to my Spirit Tree and Azuric's Talisman. If you don't have all that stuff in your player-owned house, I definitely recommend the Corendous Memories, I believe is how you say it. It's a must-have. Additionally, I would bring a Games Necklace and a Skills Necklace. I would also bring an Axe, a Fire Spell. The minimum one you can bring is 35 Bolt, which you will need 1 Chaos Rune for, 4 Fire Runes, and 3 Wind Runes. Volcanic Sulfur, a Defense Potion, Molten Glass, a Pickaxe, a Chisel, 1 Prayer Potion, 1 Super Combat Potion, 4 Stamina Potions, 1 Super Restore, and 4 Cerebrews. For the gear requirements for this video, I suggest your best melee gear. There are 2 boss fights during this quest, and neither are super hard, but obviously the better gear you bring, the easier it will be for you. And finally, as always, before we start the guide, remember if you enjoyed today's video and it helps you out in any way, make sure to head down below and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and join the Discord in the description. Thanks. Now, to start off the quest today, make your way over to the entrance of Karen and talk to Martin Holt. Spam through the dialogue, but say yes at the end in order to start the quest. Next, make your way into the castle and speak to Commander Fullor on the bottom floor. She should be the woman standing in the main room. Once here, talk to her and spam through the dialogue, and at the very end, choose the option Let's Go in order to trigger a cutscene. Once you're in the cutscene, you can spam through all the dialogue or watch it if you would like. After the cutscene's over, she will talk to you briefly. You can just spam through the dialogue, but basically tell her you're ready to go search the house. Head inside and search the table in the room to the right, and then search all the stuff in the kitchen to the left. In the cabinets in the back here, you should find your first piece of paper that's going to be important. Read it and see what it says. After that, search the other cabinet and then head upstairs. Once upstairs, search the bathtub and then everything in the room to the right until you find the second piece of parchment. Once you have the second piece of parchment, read it and then head back outside to talk to the commander. Tell her both options about where you think the girl is going, and then head to Namejamie. Once here at the Inferno, head southeast to the pub. Once here at the pub, speak to the owner, Fuggy, and ask him if he's seen the Councilwoman. He should tell you that he last saw her heading to go to see Veos to take a boat off the island. After you are done speaking to him, you should see sort of a brief screen shake as an earthquakes occur. Keep spamming through the dialogue after that, and then teleport yourself over to Piscaralius. At Piscaralius, we will be heading to the dock where Veos usually is. It will take me a bit longer to get there because I will be running from the Karen Castle. If you use the memory book and you're there before me, simply talk to the boy boatman who is standing in Veos's place. Know that when we talk to this boy, we will trigger our first boss fight, so make sure you have your melee gear and some food in order to get yourself through it. But again, now that I'm here, talk to the boy and spam through the dialogue. Halfway through the dialogue, ask him where the Councilwoman is, and this should trigger a cutscene in the first boss fight. Now, the way this boss fight works is you'll be teleported back on the dock and fire waves will be sent at you. There should be one free space to run through the fire waves at. Make sure you run through that one or else you'll take around 20 damage. To fight the boss, simply pray protect from melee and he shouldn't hurt you, and also put on piety if you would like. Make sure to sip a super combat potion if you brought one, as well as keeping your HP high, because other than that, this fight is pretty easy. Occasionally, after a few times you've hit him, he will teleport you back and you will have to repeat the fire waves. Simply run back at him while avoiding the fire waves, and then melee him to death. After he is dead, you'll be put into another cutscene, spam through the dialogue, and then run to the back of the Karen castle, where you will find the commander and speak to her. Once here, speak to the commander and spam through the dialogue. She will basically tell you that she cannot help you directly due to her ties to the council, but you should go talk to Martin, the protester, at the beginning of the quest, and he will help you find Rose, the missing daughter of the previous king. After the dialogue, head to Martin again, who is at the front of the castle where you found him at the start of the quest. Once here, speak to him and spam through the dialogue. After you are done, make your way to the Arceus library, either using the fairy ring or your book. Once here in the library, speak to Archeo in the bottom and choose the teleport option. Next, speak to Historia in the middle of the room and ask her about Rose's diary. After the conversation is over, pickpocket Historia and use the key on the pink case that is locked on the eastern south wall. This should give you Rose's diary, and once you have it, inspect it and then head back to Martin. Once you are back at Martin, give him the book and he will cut out a note from it. Then teleport yourself to Hesidius or the Woodcutting Guild, because we are going to be making our way to the Forthlos dungeon entrance. Once here at the dungeon, speak to Martin and spam through the dialogue, and then finally when you have to choose an option, say, okay, I'll go look around. After you are done speaking to him, head just south of him and chop the vines and head inside that room. On this room's wall, you should find a box that wants you to enter a code. My code was 7271, and feel free to try that at the beginning, but I'm not sure if it's different for everyone. But if it is different for everyone, the way you solve the riddle is you go around and inspect the 4 rocks inside this little dungeon area, and they will give you a number corresponding to Rose's name. After you unlock the box, take the note, read it, and then go talk to Martin. When the options come up to choose one, say, alright, I'll meet you there, and then teleport yourself to Wintertodd using your game's necklace. Once here at Wintertodd, run south and then west over to this ruin area and speak to Martin. Know that once you talk to him, you will trigger an assassin to appear, which you will pray melee against and piety and will have to kill in order to continue the quest. Once the assassin is dead, speak to Martin and spam through the dialogue, and then say, "Okay, I'll look around for the key." Once you are done speaking to him, use your firebolt on this piece of ice just to the south of him, and you will find the key inside. Once you have the key, open the lockbox which is on the wall located next to Martin, and take the note from inside. Read it, and then speak to Martin again. Spam through the dialogue, and then say, "Okay, I'll meet you there." Once you have done this, teleport yourself to the Karen Castle. Once here at the castle, run directly east until you reach the pub. At the pub, you should find Martin. Once you're here at the pub, speak to Martin and spam through the dialogue per usual. Once you are done, say, "Okay, I'll go look around," and then climb up this pillar which is directly west of you. Once upstairs, head inside to the small room and you should see the typical lockbox on the northern wall. Read it and pay close attention to the houses at the bottom of the message. You need to memorize the first letter of each house's name in the order they appear on the message. Then go back downstairs and come over here to the statues and press the statues buttons in order that the names of the houses appeared at the message on your plaque. Once you have done that, you should unlock the box. Once you have done it correctly, you should hear the box unclick, head up to it, and get the note inside, and then this will trigger a cutscene. Spam through the cutscene, and then read the note after it's over. After you have read the note, teleport yourself with your skills necklace to the farming guild, or use the fairy ring to teleport yourself just south of the Mount Karem area. Once you are in the farming guild, run outside the doors and head east and then directly north to a small house. Once you are here at the house, inspect the bed and then inspect the crates in the northwest part of the room. They should allow you to go down inside them, which will trigger a cutscene. Go ahead and do that. Once the cutscene's over, talk to the commander briefly and then say you better be off. Head back upstairs and then head directly south to the Mulch Dungeon. Basically, just a place you would fight the lizard shamans in order to get your dragon warhammer. Once inside the dungeon, head directly south and then east over to this lizard man who is sitting down. Ask him if he knows anything about where to find the mage, and then go through the dialogue with him. He will tell you that in order to get to the mage, you will need a key, which he will give you in return for an egg, which is his. After this dialogue is over, we will need to head back upstairs and then to the southwest part of the swamp we are in order to retrieve his egg. Once you are back up above the area, I will put a picture on screen for where we are going directly. I got a little lost while I was running there and the clip kind of got all messed up, but simply go to where I am marked on the screen now. It is basically just a little bit southwest of you. Once you are here, run across the bridge and search the eggs. Eventually, when you find his egg, a lizard should appear, quickly kill it, and then head back to the lizard man we found inside the temple. Once you are back here, speak to him and ask him about the key. Know that once you go inside this room, you will be triggering a cutscene and the second boss fight. This is by far the harder of the boss fights, and if you are low on food, perhaps bank beforehand and grab a little bit extra. Otherwise, open this door, which is just southwest of the shaman we were talking to, and head inside. Head through the gate, and that will trigger the cutscene in the actual boss fight. Now, the first time I attempted this fight, I was clearly a little under-geared, so I simply teleported to the farming guild and headed back in with my geared up stuff. When you get in, sip a super combat potion, and then just put protect from mage over your head, and simply start hitting the boss with your melee stuff. The boss is pretty simple. Protect from magic will do a majority of work in the fight, and he only has 2 special attacks you have to worry about. The first one is on my screen now, and is when he summons these little hands that are right next to you and they come attack you. Simply kill them both and then go back to hitting the boss. The other special attack he has is he will summon these hands to repeatedly fall from the ceiling that will come and hit you. Know that if you want to dodge this attack, you have to Wook's Walks hit him, which can be a little bit difficult for some of you, or you can continuously walk around the room while this occurs and you won't be hit by any of them. But know that if you walk around the room, you will have to avoid all these blue circles on the floor, as if you run into them, they will hurt a lot. But yeah, other than that, I only went through 1 phase of both special attacks basically, and then I just killed him. So it's a pretty easy boss fight. If you brought your Sarah Brews and you still have them, you should be fine for this fight. Now, after you get to his second HP bar, you will trigger his second phase where he instantly one-hits you, which triggers a cutscene. Simply spam through the cutscene and I'll see you on the other side. Once you are done with the cutscene, spam through the quick dialogue and then search the table directly north of you. You don't have to read any of this note unless you're into lore, but otherwise, teleport back to where you found Rose, or basically where the commander is, just south of Mount Korend, or you can teleport again to the Farming Guild with your skills necklace. Once here, head downstairs and you'll trigger a long cutscene. Simply spam through it and I'll see you on the other side. Once the cutscene is ending here, you will have to go and talk to every lord of all the houses. To start off, teleport yourself to the Arceus library basically. I use the fairy ring here. When you get here, run a little bit south and then west over to the Arceus Tower of Mages, I believe it's called. And at the top of it, you should find the Lord of Arceus. Once here, speak to him quickly and tell him you need him to assemble. After that conversation, teleport yourself over to Hesidius and then run directly east if you're using the Xerix Talisman teleport. And in this house with the quest marker on it, you should find the Lord of Hesidius. Speak to him and go through a very similar conversation to the last Lord. After that is done, teleport yourself to Lovajek and run southwest to this building over here, and you should find the Lady of Lovajek. Speak to her and tell her that everyone is meeting. After that conversation is done, teleport yourself to the Karen Castle or directly to Piscaralius and head down to the sewer area. Once you are in the sewer, run west to the camp area, and in the tent to the northwest, you should find the Lady of Piscaralius. Speak to her and tell her that everyone is meeting. Finally, after that is done, teleport yourself to the lookout and head up to the war tent. In the upper part of the war tent, you should find the Lord of the Shazians. Speak to him and tell him that everyone is meeting. After that conversation is over, teleport yourself back to the lookout and then speak to the commander. Run directly east. You should see the commander, speak to her, and this should trigger a cutscene. Once you are done with the cutscene, speak to the commander quickly, and then head upstairs to speak to the Lord of the Shazians, the Lord of Lovajek, and the Lord of Piscaralius. You will talk to each of them, and they will give you each their own task to go do. After you've done that, head to the basement and talk to the Lord of Hasidius. He will give you another task, and then head right outside the lookout area and you should see the Lord of Arceus. He will give you your final task. Once you have all 5 tasks, after you've spoken to each of the lords, teleport yourself to Mount Corrend, either using the skills necklace and heading to the farming guild, or by using the fairy ring. Once atop the mountain, head into the Slayer dungeon and speak to the 3 rock monsters at the very start. Spam through the dialogue and they will tell you that you will need volcanic sulfur and a defense potion in order to make a super defense potion. After the original conversation is done, combine the sulfur with the defense potion and then speak to them again. During this conversation, they will tell you you need to go pour this potion on the doors to Wintertodt. So use your games necklace after this and teleport there and make sure you right click use the potion on the door. After you have done this, feel free to teleport back to the lookout and speak to the Lord of Arceus because you will be done with the first task. After this, run directly south from the lookout area, and a little bit ways down, you should find a dungeon sign. Around this dungeon sign, when you get there, there should be a bunch of barbarians in a camp. Head down the ladder in the back of the camp, and down there you should be triggered into sort of a conversation with the barbarian, who will then quickly attack you. Feel free to pray melee, although he is very weak. Just simply kill him and then speak to the prisoner in the cell. During this conversation, there's nothing of note. Simply spam through the dialogue and then teleport back to the lookout and go speak to the Lord of Hosidius in the basement, and that will complete his task. Next, teleport yourself either to the Woodcutting Guild with the Skills Necklace or Hosidius directly, and run all the way to the east, where the winery is. In the winery, there should be 2 barrels of wine in the southern part. Inspect the one on the right, and it should allow you to go into a little room. Once in the little room, picklock the chest and get the diary. Then teleport back to the lookout and head upstairs to speak to the Lord of the Shazians, and that will complete his task for you. After you are done speaking to him, teleport yourself to the Arceus area, either using your memory book or using the fairy ring, and then run to the building that is located just east of the library. Once here, enter up the stairs, then run down the long hallway and up the second flight of stairs. In that room, there should be a single NPC. Talk to him, and he will tell you you need to go mine a dark essence block and have molten glass on you. So after this conversation is done, teleport yourself back to the fairy ring and run north and then east over to the area where you mine the dark essence. Once here, you can use your pickaxe and chisel, and if you didn't bring the chisel, you can pick one up here, and you mine this block and then run back the way you came to this dark altar and use the block on the altar. After that is done, I suggest teleporting or running back to the guy we just spoke of in that monastery area, and he will combine the two for us. After you are done speaking to him for the second time and he's combined the two objects, teleport to your house or your nearest fairy ring and enter the code DJR. This should take you to the Fire Chasm. Here, talk to the one NPC directly north of you, and this will trigger a quick cutscene. After the cutscene, teleport back to the lookout and go talk to the Lady of Piscarelius, who's at the top of the tower, and that should have completed the task for her. After that, head back down to the bottom and speak to the commander. Tell her you need help with the Lady of Lovejack's task, and then spam through the rest of the dialogue. After you are done speaking to her, run directly west to the dungeon that is just outside the walls of the castle that is just west of your current position. Once in the dungeon, head down a little bit south here, and you should find Martin in a cell. Speak to him and spam through the dialogue. During this dialogue, he should tell you a secret phrase that you're supposed to remember. You don't really need to remember it, because after the conversation, we're going to head up above the dungeon again and directly east to Jarrell the door. Here, he's going to ask you for the code word. You can simply spam through each option until you find the right one. Once you do find the right one, an assassin should appear. Make sure you pray for melee and kill it. After you kill it, teleport or run back to the lookout and speak to the Lady of Lovajak, and you now should be done with all the tasks. Go back downstairs and speak to the commander, and this should trigger a long cutscene. After the cutscene's over, spam through the dialogue with the commander, then head into the basement and talk to the Lord of Hasidius, spam through his dialogue as well, and then head back upstairs to the commander and tell her you're ready to go. Once you tell her you're ready to go, you should go through a very long cutscene. You can spam through all this dialogue as it will take you to the end of the quest. After the cutscene, you will be prompted to talk to the commander again, and she will give you your quest rewards. Congratulations on finishing the new quest, A Kingdom Divided. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Remember to leave a like and comment on it if you did. And remember, my name is Jamie, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace! I do it for the